All right. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Women in STEM panel discussion. And of course, we have a story of success of Superstar in STEM 2020. So I guess we are all here, and I appreciate your time, the panel members. Thank you very much. So we learn and we practice in the environment, this digital environment, to be engaged with you. And we are very excited to have you here. And hello to all the participants. So I guess I go to the point is, okay, we have a question. So Janet, do you want to run this question for us? So of course, there is a question. You're going to answer. And Janet is going to report the outcome. It's in progress. We didn't give it time, Janet. How much time is left?
Sorry, I was just watching them. Trying to see whether everybody's put it in. Not everybody has added, but that might be, including some of us, that might be you and I that haven't added. Okay, I will end the poll. Are you seeing the results?
So I don't know if what I see is the outcome. Do you want to read, Janet?
Oh, it tells me I'm sharing the results. Well, we have most students are saying, yes, it is vital for my career and I want all of the tips and advice I can get. In fact, yeah, it's got, it's saying to us 100% there, but then it's saying 27% have said, I know I need to do it, but I haven't really started yet. And nobody has ticked, I don't think I'll need to network in my career. But certainly, I think some people have ticked more than one. So 100% did tick A, it's vital for my career. But 4 have also said, I know I need to do it, but I haven't started yet.
Thank you, Janet. Thank you for sharing the results. So now, I guess now we all agree that the science communications, it's important, and professional networking, it's something that it can, help us in the for our career success and whatever we are doing. So I guess if we can stop sharing the results, we can now start the first session of our Women in a STEM panel discussion. So I guess before I go to this panel discussion and I invite all the panel members to introduce themselves, I would like to just touch base on what is this idea and what is the STEM infographic competition. So we are excited. For the first time, Emily and Dana and myself, we are running this competition. Of course, for any competition that we run, we have some training session. We want to make sure that you have an opportunity to improve your skills. We know that we need to train you with some, something that you, for example, Adobe Illustrator to create the infographic. We are going to have a workshop for data visualization. So we are in contact, and we started a few months back to run this program, and we are, I'm delighted that to run and be host of this, event, which is the first workshop of the STEM infographic competition. Of course, this competition is with the sustainability impact, which you are going to hear some points from our panel member. Next slide, please. All right, before I start talking about the STEM infographic, on behalf of the people who are in this meeting from Australia and Malaysia, I would like respectfully to acknowledge the past, present, and future traditional owners of the lands that we are meeting today, and respect their culture and identity. which has been bounded up with the land and sea for generations. So just to have an overview and to just update you with what we are doing. So we are going to have a short introduction to the STEM infographic, but today we are going to have 2 sessions, Women in a STEM panel discussion and the story of success, which is going to take you to the story of how we can be involved with the superstar of STEM 2020 and how you are going to come up with your idea and how you can proceed that journey. So with the Women in STEM panel discussion, we are going to have Emily, Dana, Sanduni, Amelia, and Jack. And I don't know if Georgina joined us. So these are our fantastic panel member. And of course, the story of success is going to be shared by Dana. And then we are going to finish and, close up and talking about the application and the evaluation. And you will be communicated in the few days. You are going to be receive an email from our fantastic collaborator, Janet, from the Emerging Leaders program with all the information that we shared today. Sustainability. What is our vision? Our vision is make the world a better place to live. So I guess thinking about this vision and thinking about the sustainability and thinking about us as a women in STEM, how we are going to, contribute. I guess today we have a panel member, either the students leaders or either the educators leaders or educator communicator. Whether you study or whether you are educating, you really want to see what is your contribution. How the future of technology look like, how the future of our world look like, how we can help to save the planet. So I guess these are some kind of the conversation that we are going to have. I choose this and I like this image, which is talking about circular economy. I guess every one of us is educating in different discipline and we have a different knowledge. But I think from our perspective, from our discipline knowledge, again, we want to think about the sustainability and how we can contribute and of course, make the world a better place to live. So an example, so a group of my research students working with the food waste. So we are working with the composter. So one of my PhD students designed, because he has an environmental engineering background, now coming to the biotechnology. Now we are going to take it to the, this composter is going to be taken to the, with the IT students. They are working, they're trying to automate this composter. And we are hoping very soon we can, come up with something from the food waste. We can take it to the composting and we can come up with a product, which is the biofertilizer, which can help and so, make the nutrition for the plants. So you can see this is called circular economy. So from the food waste, you come up with the product. So just think about something, some example that you might have in your mind relevant to your discipline. STEM infographic with sustainability impact. This is the first workshop. The second workshop, you all are invited Thursday, 16th of September, which we are going to learn about Adobe Illustrator. Our Adobe coaches, fantastic. They are going to teach us how we can create an infographic. Workshop 3 is going to be amazing because data visualization is the fundamental information knowledge that you need. And of course, the registration of this, it's if you want to have this, participate in this competition, you're going to submit 300 words, outline your STEM passion with the sustainability impact, and then We are here to support you. Our Adobe coaches are here to support you beyond these workshops. And of course, the video submission of the infographic, how you process, how you come up with the challenge, solution, and sustainability impact. That 4-minute video is your product to be able to compete. Of course, we have a people's choice. So hopefully, if you get a chance to go back to, campus, we are from Victoria, and we are going to learn how we, cope with this long lockdown. But I guess that is we have an exhibition, and we are going to have a live showcase. Okay, that is all for me for the STEM infographic. Now, this is the time that we are all waiting for. So I guess I would like to welcome all of the panel member, and I guess I am going to start with Dana. If you could please introduce yourself in 1 or 2 minutes, about you, about what you're doing, and a bit of your daily life.
Sure, Vita. Thanks for having me here, and I'm glad that I'm here today with all of you. I'm Dana Rezazadegan, and I'm a lecturer in Swinburne University of Technology. So the field of research for me is AI and its applications in the robotics domain and also in healthcare domain. So I'm working in lots of projects in these 2 domains from started from my PhD towards now. In terms of teaching, I teach subjects around data science, also around machine learning, deep learning, and artificial intelligence in total. Yeah, we are collaborating with industry partners in these domains, and that these days AI entered almost every domain, so it's quite broad now. I think that's all about me. I'm also a superstar of STEM that I'm going to talk about it, so I just leave it here.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dana. Thank you. So now we go with the second member, Emily. Do you want to introduce yourself?
I can. Hello, everyone. I'm Emily Cook. I'm a lecturer in STEM education, teaching in the Department of Mathematics at Swinburne. I wouldn't say I've had a linear career. I've done a variety of things. I actually started as a physicist and trained as a high school teacher, decided I hate year 9, went back to uni to study biomedical engineering, and has somehow ended up teaching maths. So hopefully I can give you some ideas of STEM careers that don't always have to follow a clear trajectory. You can try a lot of different things. And my current project that I'm working on is trying to teach maths using Lego. So I'm having a lot of fun playing with Lego animations and having to learn video editing. So lots of different skills that you need to be involved in STEM. Thank you for having me today.
Thank you, Emily. Thank you. I know that there are some amazing, inspiring video from you, and it's interesting that, in a science, you also can be creative. So that's very important. All right. So from the, our amazing students and colleagues. So Sanduni, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi everyone, I'm Saduni, my pronouns are she, her. I'm currently in my 4th year of robotics and mechatronics engineering. I'm on my industry placement this year at Australia Defence, and I'm the Vice President of the Women in STEM Club at Swinburne. Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you, Sanduni, thank you. And now we go with Amelia.
Hey everyone, thanks Bita. As some of you may have heard when you first came into the Zoom call, I'm up in not quite so sunny Canberra, but currently studying my Masters in Science Communication, which is probably the best Masters I could have hoped for. I get to travel around Australia when we're not in lockdown, presenting science shows and workshops to rural and remote places. So it's pretty special, and I'm really excited to be here and meet you all today.
Thank you, Amelia. I'm sure that you have very great story and tips from what you're experiencing by traveling around Australia, and I'm so jealous. Okay, so I guess the next one, Jack, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, thanks for having me today. So I recently finished my master's in biotech just a couple months ago at Swinburne as well. And while I was studying, I was working at Pfizer. And since I've finished studying, I've moved into a CRO company working as a clinical research associate. So I'm just being trained up in that, very fresh, but you know, I've gone straight from learning to full-time learning, which has been good. Excited to meet you all and be here.
Thank you, Jack. Janet, do we have Georgina here, or she's not here? I don't know. I can't see the participants.
I can't see that she's here.
All right, that's okay. I guess now we have all the panel member and they introduced. So I guess just is the message to the participants, please I'm going to touch base on what is going to be covered and what is suggested to be covered, but please take this opportunity and use of the chat room to ask your question from all of these fantastic panel members. So they are coming from the different discipline knowledge, and they are here for STEM communication, STEM career, and we are going to touch base on the sustainability impact as well. So I guess the first points that we consider to be discussed, and everyone the way that we are going to discuss, anyone, it's volunteer, it can start, and then we can take the discussion. So we talk about the technology. Look at us from 2020 with this remote study and with this remote educating or studying. I guess I want you to, as a women in STEM, to discuss about what does the changing role of technology mean for women in STEM? Or in fact, I want everyone to, if you have anything that helps you and support you in your study, in your leading, in your leadership, in your education, in this remote environment, digital environment. So I appreciate if you share with our participants. And of course, this motivation to be active, it's very important. And I know that you're successful. Tell us about your secrets. Who is going to be the first?
I can give a shot.
Beautiful. Thank you, Dana.
No worries. I'm gonna actually discuss it broadly, broader than the remotely working, which is somehow our issues every day. So I think the future world of work, specifically in STEM, will be actually changed by technology, AI, and also intelligent systems. So it's quite essential that women study and also engage with technology. So they can basically help, shaping future advances, be a part of it, and also aren't left behind in this changing world, which is really important, I think, in the world that we are living now. And one example of that is this pandemic that made all of us, using these platforms, these digital platforms, to communicate with each other, to work in our universities or industry or anything. And if we can't get used to that, we just left behind. And it affects our career, our future career, and everything. So I think everyone now got the point of using technology, at least if we don't develop it, or if we are not a part of developing something innovative, that's all right. But still, we can catch up with, using technology in a high level that we can actually use it for making progress in our future careers.
Yeah, I agree. This is our daily life now, using technology. Without technology, we cannot be here today. So I guess I want everyone, the panel member, to come from their point of view, like you're coming from different discipline, from different industry or study. What is your, what is your reflection on technology? What is our role? What is our motivation, to continue?
I guess, so I was actually having a chat with a few of my university friends and friends that have just sort of transitioned into full-time work as well. And they found that moving into an online space has reduced, I guess, pressure, particularly in a corporate kind of workplace, on things like outfits and what you look like, which I think is still very much a thing in many workplaces, unfortunately. And so I think moving online, it therefore, or certainly from their experience, has become more about their ability to do really good work and to produce really amazing ideas, rather than about appearance. And so hopefully the fact that that's happening while working at home will transition into the workplace, hopefully once we can all get back full time. So I think that's, yeah, it's quite an interesting perspective, that it might actually have changed the way that people view women in the workplace, and hopefully that will transition in the future as well.
Can I jump on just to build on that point? I think it's great. I love wearing slippers to work all day. So that's one of the few benefits. There aren't many benefits to these COVID times, but that's definitely one of them. And I think one of the interesting things going forward that's been really highlighted this year is the interplay between technology and communication, and the interplay between technology and people and social interaction. That some technologies like this, we're all in our homes in different places, and yet we can communicate. I can see your faces, which is fantastic. And I feel like I can get to know some of you, which technology has allowed that. And I think it'll be interesting to see, especially having had these kind of hard lockdown years, of which aspects of that we take forward, and where we say, great, technology can help us communicate better, and where we go, actually, no, there is a point where we need a kind of human social interaction. We are fundamentally biological creatures that have certain biological and social things that we need, and it'll be interesting to see how we go and how we use technology to kind of continue with our humanity, and that they're not separate things, and that technology helps us be humans, not they're pulling in different directions. But yeah, the slippers are very important to wear to work. Very comfortable to have. Very good to have comfortable feet.
Thank you very much, Emily. That's a great point. Actually, it's just it's very amazing that how we can use of the technology, and still how we can share our feeling, and how we can do, we can share our passion. So it's just very amazing. I mean, I'm interested to know how that can happen, because in past it was just all about meeting someone for a coffee and chat about the work that we are going to do. But now we are sitting here, so it's provides some opportunity for us. I mean, I can sit here and talk with my colleague in US, and we can talk about them, and something that it can be useful for our career, for our study, for our education. But yeah, it's just still it needs to be improved. So any other points from Sinduni? You're leading the Women in STEM at Swinburne. So how this remote leadership it's helped you? So what is the benefit? What was the outcome?
I would say definitely there are a lot more benefits, because I think people do feel like they have to make an extra step now to socialize, which means they will be attending events because they really want to find and network with people. So definitely from like a club perspective, it's been pretty good. I think though, like from my experiences and also from like some of my friends' experiences, sometimes it feels a bit more, even more isolating, just being in like labs, and you need to have a partner, and obviously you can't even see the people, and it's already like when you're in a lab and it's just you're the only girl there, at least you can like move to someone's table, where now it's kind of like you're just looking at a list of names. So I think there's definitely like a lot of benefits, but there's still like some other points as well. But yeah.
So I guess I'm interested to know, because we have leaders, we have educators, we have students. So we have a complex of all of these groups. So it's good. And I think, Jack, I guess you are from, and now you're working in, you're not working in Pfizer anymore? I shouldn't ask you for the vaccine.
No. Well, we weren't doing vaccines at that side anyway, so can't even hook you up.
So how this remote and this digital environment or technology impact your work or your study?
Yeah, so I think the first thing that always comes to mind when we have these kind of discussions now is that, similar to Emily's point and yourself, Bita, like it's given us way more opportunities than we probably would have in the past, or tried to have in the past, to bring so many different people together from diverse backgrounds even, or just geographic locations and everything, which has been great. But on the flip side of that, you've got the straight up negatives, which is, you have to make that extra effort, like Sanduni was saying, to interact with people, as basic as it is. And for me, all of last year, I was an essential worker. So I was very lucky that I still got to go about my normal day and go to work and come home, and having that separation in my life. But now working in my new role, it's we're not essential workers. So I've been working from home the majority of the time for this past lockdown. It has been really, really tough because it's the first time I've had to do that, and not having the boundaries and separation has been, you really need to be adaptable and make sure that you are still reaching out to people, and even just messaging your work colleagues online to catch up. And because otherwise you do find yourself falling into that hole really easily, and it's quite hard to come out of it. And so yeah, that's been my own personal experience. But the fact that more events like this are becoming more often, and people are really excited to attend these kind of events and host them is great. And I hope even once we do get to our COVID normal, these kind of events do continue, because it does give us the opportunity to bring together so many different people.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I guess and now I want to ask Sam from, is there any question from the chat room? Otherwise, I'm going to continue with my question, but I prefer to grab some question from the participants. Sam, can you please update me?
There's no questions for the panel themselves. There's just one question related to the competition.
Oh, okay. I can answer that question at the end.
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you, Sam. Please update me. I keep asking you.
Yeah.
All right. So now we hear about some of your personal experiences and your points, which help us to, think about, I guess it's important for us to know that we are not the only person who is in, their home office and working. There are people like me, and they are trying to somehow they try to be in contact with each other. So thinking of the technology and the future of, I don't know how we are going to continue even when we come out from this condition, the restriction. But I guess there are always some learning, some lessons, and we can take it. And we can use it. So now we are thinking about the women in STEM in 2050. So what does the ideal future look like? How do you think that women in STEM, and I don't want to just talk about the women, I guess everyone in STEM, how we want to look at the future? What do you think?
I think what would be great is just more diversity. So more women, more people from all different backgrounds, with all different viewpoints, all different experiences, all different interests. And again, hopefully technology can support this, but more collaboration. And I think a lot of the really interesting breakthroughs in science and technology come from collaborations, and certainly the interesting projects I've been working on, thinking back to my PhD and postdoc, were around the intersection between computing and physics and health, and how do we combine those things to develop better diagnostic tools or implants for the body that can help people live more comfortable and healthy lives. And I think all of those driving things come from those intersections of different fields and different people thinking in different ways, working together. And the more diversity we can have in terms of people, background and thought, then the more creativity we'll have, and the better futures in STEM will look.
That's a
I think piggybacking on the idea of, hopefully increased diversity by that stage, fingers crossed. I recently did a little bit of research, basically looking at representation of women in the media. And I think, the media plays such a massive role in all of our lives. We're connected to it pretty much full time, even when we try and escape sometimes. And it's like pretty crazy that even over the past, 5-6 years, it really hasn't changed very much in that representation of women across various different outlets. Even things like the ABC that we would think might be quite a lot better are actually not doing so well. And so I guess looking at an ideal future, there would be much better representation across media, given that it's something that really influences our own thoughts and our lives every single day as well.
That's there.
Just looking at, and on that as well, this question made me happy because it meant I could go look at some statistics. And in my research, I was finding that even though we have come so far, I would say in the past, 50 years or however, I was pretty astounded to see that in 2020, the STEM pay gap is still around $30,000 difference between men and women. Whereas in comparison to all other industries that are non-STEM, it's $25,000, which, is not that much of a difference, but it is still a difference. And the fact that it's still so prevalent is a bit ridiculous. As well as that, what else did I say? That in 2019, 5 years after graduating, men are almost 2 times more likely to be working in a STEM field compared to women. And this is only 2 years old, these numbers, and it's just really sad to look at. I thought that we would come a lot further than we have already. So in 2050, hopefully those numbers are becoming minute. That would be my hope anyway.
And Jack, you're reporting this fact and data, which we all love it. They are the fact. I mean, regardless of it's not pleasant, but it's what I guess.
We need that shock factor sometimes, I think.
We need to act on it. So we are the women in STEM. So somehow we are spending about more than 10 years, 14 years of our life in STEM. And now we are reading the report that what you just shared with us. So
this is in Australia as well. Sorry, this is not a US study or a global study. This is within Australia.
So I guess that comes to my mind. What is the action? What do we need to do? So as a women in STEM, what is our role to changing those data? So I think this is something that we need to take an action, because I don't think that if we are waiting for something to change, is just going to be changed without being us to be involved or educating our science graduate to act on it. So
I can add some points to that, actually. That's what we can do.
Yes.
Yeah, because I think, to have that ideal future for women in STEM, we should somehow allow girls to explore their STEM options and interests at an early age. So early exposure is one of the points that we can focus, actually, to have an ideal future for women in STEM. And another aspect that I can think of is having excellent role models, women role models among our educators, for example, and also high rank positions in academia, in industry, and even in politics and government. So if they were trained already for communicating science, technology, engineering, and mathematics effectively, it would be, I think it would make a difference. And I can see that, for example, we're going to have in the future, in the ideal future, we're going to have numerous platforms that, will bring these two groups together to interact with each other, learn from each other, perhaps, and also run some inspiring events for the younger ones. So these are some actions that I think we can start from now, from today. And we can hope that, in 2050, for example, or even sooner, we can achieve the better statistics in terms of the income for women, in terms of the positions, roles, and everything.
Thank you, Dana. And again, we are not here to separate men and women. We are here to talk about the diversity. We are here to talk about the multidisciplinary, dialogue. We are here to say that each, individually, because we are talking about the how to make the world a better place to live. So everyone can bring the strength or something that can make us more stronger, how we can just feel confident, I guess. If you have an ability, how the environment, the education, the industry, the workplace, the university, the schools, parents, so help you to identify your skill, regardless if you're a woman or man, and you should be able to, take a role in the future of the world. That's what we want. So we want to make sure that everyone has a skill and a passion and knowledge, so can be able to contribute. I think that is the point. So I guess, Sanduni, what we are doing in the in the women in the STEM clubs to encourage the women and the young, educate them, I think, young students to take a role and feel confident, and they, feel like they are empowered with a voice that they would like someone in the power can.
Yeah. I think as a club, we do focus a lot more on the supporting current university students. We did used to do outreach to high school, which was obviously really great, but there's actually a 13% dropout rate of females who get into STEM and they're enjoying their career, but they drop out due to other obstacles versus the 4% dropout of men. And so one of our goals with the Women in STEM mentoring program is that whoever, within STEM, wherever you are within your degree, you're able to have someone there supporting you or guiding you as sort of just a guidance system. But yeah, I think ideal future would just be increasing the retention of the females who do get into STEM and do enjoy their STEM careers, and of having within high school just STEM subjects and resources being more accessible and for all women. I remember for me during my high school journey, I didn't do physics until year 10 because it just wasn't taught at all. So yeah.
I think the resources and the mentors are very important when it comes to the education and study. Sam, do we have any questions in the chat room that you would like to share?
Yep, we've got a few related to what you've just been talking about, so I'll do them all in one kind of together. So there's a question on if anybody has any ideas on why the gap is so big between men and women's pay gaps and retention gaps and all those kind of things. Another question on just on the specific data that was given about women dropping out after graduating. And I suspect you might not have the specific information in front of you, but if you do, somebody's asking, did all the women start working and wanted to work after graduation? Or do you know if there was other confounding factors? And one other person asking about if anybody knows of government or legislation that's been brought forward to look at trying to fix the pay gap.
I can just respond to the one or two about the studies. I don't know off the top of my head, but I still have the studies open. I'm quite happy to give the link to Bita and she can send it out to whoever's attended based on your student IDs if you'd like. You can have a read of it yourself. But those, I know there was about 3 of them, and I know 2 of them were government studies, so that they're aware of it.
All right. So what was the last question, Sam, if you can please read, because
absolutely, yeah. So just generally people are asking about what can be done about the gap, and if there's anything in the way that the government specifically has done or is doing about the gap.
I'm not sure if our panel member know about the government's action, or at least your opinion.
I'm not sure about government action, but I think Dana touched on sort of the first part of that question earlier, which was like, why is there such a big gap in like the number of men versus women in STEM fields? And I think early education is a really big part of that, and making sure that you know, people are really fostered in the STEM kind of environment. And I think we are getting better at it. There are lots of external programs, such as the one that I'm sort of part of at the moment, that go around to schools, particularly in those more regional areas that have even less access to good science education. So I think that's one big thing. And then I think, I guess, even marketing has got a lot better from universities targeting towards women, but I think there's a bit of a way to go there as well, making sure that universities are really trying to reach out to women who might be, you know, a little bit more unsure about whether they want to pursue a STEM pathway.
And Amelia, because you are now study your master as a science communication, so this is part of your degree to visit the you know, to visit primary school women's and you know, the girls and boys, and inspire them in a science.
Yeah, so the program that I'm a part of is a partnership between the Australian National University and Questacon, which you might have had visit your school. But basically, if you haven't, it's the National Science and Technology Centre. And a big part of what they do is make sure that, you know, all of Australia has access to really quality and exciting science education, because I think there are a lot of issues in the curriculum around that kind of lead to people not wanting to pursue STEM because it is boring or it is too hard. And so, yeah, I think making sure that education is exciting is really important. And I've loved learning about that this year as well.
Okay.
Can I jump on your back? So I'm just going to piggyback on everything you say now. And just to kind of put a maths hat on that as well, that there is a big gap in, or perceived gap in, maths education from early years, where maths is still often talked about as boys are good at maths, girls are good at English, which just isn't the case. The data does not support that at all. Girls are just as good at maths from a young age. Constantly told, oh, it's not for you, it's not for you, or that being seen in the media has a big problem. And there's also, it's a cyclical issue that we don't have enough maths teachers because we don't have enough people studying maths. We don't have enough teachers going to schools who love maths and are passionate about maths. And there is a gender difference in, often female students look up to female role models, and if their teacher is insecure about maths, they become insecure about maths. So they think they can't do it even if they can. And because it often has wrong answers, they think, oh no, I got the answer wrong, I can't do it. Which you got the answer, I get answers wrong in lectures all of the time. But it's having the confidence to explore that. I think it's that cycle of how do we, I mean, what we need is, yeah, great science communications and great teachers that kind of break that cycle of anxiety and insecurity about it, because the data says girls are just as good at maths as boys, but they have to believe that themselves to want to keep studying it, and to see getting an answer wrong as an opportunity to go, oh, why? I'm interested. What did I not get? What can I explore here? Rather than, oh, I'm not good at this. This is me. And I mean, I don't necessarily have answers of how we can do that, but I think, yeah, how you increase people's confidence is hard, but we've somehow got to do that. And I think what we can do is try and be enthusiastic, try and be creative in the ways that we talk about what we're doing, try and, yeah, admit to our own failures and our own challenges, and yeah, just be open and honest about the process.
That's a great point. I think that's very important, that just be honest with your experience and what it took, how it, you know, how you progress to come from even your failure to the success. That mindset needs to be grown. So I can do you know, the fantastic. Sometimes I learn from my, you know, the mistakes or errors or failure, even better than the victory. So I guess we really need to be honest. If you believe in yourself, then you have a right, I think, mentor or someone can lead you to the right direction. So we always can be motivated and we always can work and and improve our skills. I guess I just want to make sure that if we have this, because I want to make sure that I consider the time. So for the maybe we have about 15 minutes for the panel discussion. I really want to talk about the sustainability. I guess that is the very main point for us to have this first workshop. So I can let Sam to collect the questions, but I guess now let's shift to the sustainability. How do you think that, I guess, thinking about the future of the world and how we want, again, I want to remind you about our vision to make the world a better place to live. From your discipline knowledge, from your personal experience, how do you think that you as a women in STEM are going to contribute into the sustainability? Do you have any example of your work, your research, or someone's work in that field?
I don't personally, I don't have any examples for studies, but in my own personal experience and just, you know, everyday life, I'm always someone that, you know, tries to take the sustainable route, and it can be really overwhelming when, you know, you see all these people that are doing everything in their life to try and be sustainable and, you know, zero waste and going to farmers markets for all their groceries and doing all the right things and thinking, geez, how do I get myself from where I am now to there? And I find it can be really overwhelming. And so in my own personal experience, and my advice would just be take one thing at a time. So, you know, conquer one thing first and then move on to the next one. You know, and that can just be little things. So obviously the supermarket's not using single-use plastic bags anymore is fantastic. That just makes people think about what they're, you know, intentionally think about their impact and plan ahead and things like that. And once you get the ball rolling, then you kind of just apply that train of thought to everything else in your life as well. So, you know, we have a bokashi bin at home, which is just like food scraps and things. And now I hate putting any food scraps in the general waste bin. So I'm like, oh, that's such a waste. We can turn it into mulch and use the juice to water the plants and things like that. And it's just little small things. So, you know, I would always get overwhelmed, and it's still a process, but just try and take one step at a time and say, okay, this is what I, you know, am most secure about in my life. When it comes to being sustainable, I'm going to address that first, and, you know, until I'm happy with it, and then move on to something else. Yeah.
Thank you, Jack. Thanks for your sharing your points. So anyone who wants to experience.
Yeah, I can say about the AI, but first of all, I think anyone can actually, and I'm going to say that anyone must make a contribution towards the sustainability based on their field of work and field of research, perhaps not just women, but we are all women here. So for example, in AI domain that I'm working on, I can say that there is a huge potential to accelerate global efforts to protect the environment and also conserve the resources by detecting, for example, energy emission reduction, by helping, you know, develop the like greener transportation networks, and also monitoring, for example, deforestation, and monitoring the plants and the green grounds towards the world, and also predicting, for example, something like extreme weather conditions and so on. So there are lots of potential in terms of actually having the sustainability in the AI domain. And basically, in terms of being effective as a woman, the only thing that I can think of is, you know, I think we all have the nature of like caring nature. And I think that somehow counts as a bonus for us, for women, to make contribution to sustainability, because we care about our environment and everything around us and the future of the kids and so on. Yeah, so I think we have that bonus as well, that we can take advantage of that to care more about the sustainability and having research around that, or having projects. If we are working on industry, at least one of our projects we can allocate for this one. And something like this, and we can play our role for that.
Thank you, Dana. Thanks. So, Emily, what we are doing in mathematics to help the sustainability and protect the future of this planet?
Well, I think a lot of how we know that we need to do this comes from mathematical modeling of taking the data that we have and understanding the patterns that we're seeing in terms of chemicals, temperature rises, all of that feeds the mathematical models that make the predictions, and then say, well, if the temperature rises by this much, it's this bad. If it rises by this much, it's this much worse. So a lot of the understanding the data is people who really understand the maths and can use that to look at the slightly dire straits that we're in. But I read an interesting quote. I don't know, I can't remember who said it. I spent too much time just mindlessly staring at the internet in the past few weeks. But the quote was that the problem we have with sustainability now is mostly psychological, that there are enough people that understand the risks and understand the science and understand what we need to be doing. And it's just trying to convince. And I'm sure us here, we are, as Jack said, doing what we can in our lives. But it's how do we convince the people that aren't? Or how do we convince the government that actually keeping rich coal owners happy is less important than the future of the country, and looking at the natural disasters and the weather patterns changing is actually more of an issue, and probably sooner than we think. We're already seeing some of the effects of climate change. I think it goes back to the great work like Amelia doing in science communication. How do we communicate the urgency of this? How do we communicate the importance of everyone changing things in their daily life, and how do we lobby to get big political changes that really allow the great science and technology that we need to use to try and make the change that we need? But how do we make sure that everyone realizes that it's important? And I mean, maths can produce all the graphs. Sorry, my cat's going to get involved now. Maths can produce all the graphs saying temperature is rising and if this happens, but I don't think as mathematicians we're necessarily psychologically the best people to make a really convincing argument. And so far we've been talking about sustainability and climate change for a long time, but we still haven't seen, certainly the Australian government, really embrace it and really make the changes that they need to do. And that is a matter of psychology. How do we make that convincing argument? So we've got the data, the mathematicians have churned it out, and we have the plots, and now it's on all of us, I guess, to work out how we make that argument that we need to have some really significant changes on the large scale in terms of energy production and things like that. Sorry, I'm just going to remove the cat. I'm going to kick her out. I'll be back in.
No worries. So I think now the Emily message is mathematics does the job. We have the data, we know the trend, and we know that it's happening. So we have this knowledge, and individually, like, we are acting on it. But I think it's from the bigger picture. We need to make sure that those in power or those in, with the money, they have this information. So now Amelia's role as a science communicator is going to play a very critical, I think, a task, that how we share this knowledge and how we actually educate our kids, that they actually come with their voice, that this is our planet, this is my future. So you are going to just, ruin it. So do you think, is that something, Amelia, that we are acting in Australia? Do you think that we have enough, students, or what do we need? What do we need to share this message to the people in power and those people who have money to, I don't know, and us as a science educator, And I think that is the purpose. I want to just pause for a moment. That is the purpose that we want to invite you to the STEM infographic. When we are talking about this is the discipline, this is the knowledge, and this sustainability is important, let's start with the small things. So let's invite the community to see what is the outcome, what is the trend, what data, mathematics, science, and data science actually present. Maybe that can help us. So Amelia, so do you have a?
Yeah, so I guess it links back to what Emily was talking about a little bit earlier, and the fact that, you know, everyone needs an inspiration in their life. And if you have, you know, an inspiring teacher that thinks that the issue is really important, then it's likely to have a long-lasting impact on you as a person and influence your decisions kind of going forward. My knowledge of kind of sustainability and climate-based things in our current curriculum for young people is that it's not particularly prominent, and there certainly should be a greater role in it. Again, there are external programs, but I think it needs to be something that everyone is educated about, especially just from a really young level. I think certainly in my childhood, it was barely touched on until I left high school. And now it is getting better, but I think there's still a lot of barriers and a lot of work to be done there. I guess as well, taking kind of a bigger view of it, is that children don't only look up to inspirational people, us as adults do as well. And I think that, you know, you see it from like Greta, kids of her age or people of her age like really resonate with her message. And I think there need to be women in the next generation that are in prominent positions also echoing a similar message. And so hopefully looking forward, we'll see more women in more powerful positions that women like ourselves are able to look up to for some sort of guidance on sustainability type matters.
So I guess I just, again, considering the time, I want to touch base on the last point that I have in my list, which is the women as STEM leaders. So I guess I want to, and that would be my last question from the panel member. And please, if you have any tip and points that you would like to share with the participants who might be in the STEM and they would like to see what they need to do to be successful. Of course, they are successful, but just to come and contribute and you know, and to make the world a better place to live along with that vision. So what unique qualities do women bring to the STEM leadership? What qualities of you, what motivation take you to the position or to the role that you're doing? And how would you like to advise us with those points? And yeah, if any, how do you update yourself every day? How you connected with the mentors, how you work? So I guess we just take, so maybe Sanjuni, you can start as a student leaders, and I know that you have you are the founder of your startup actually, and you are a student. How you deal with all of this? What quality? What is your secret?
I think probably the most important.
It never stops. That's her secret.
I think most important quality would be just like having empathy and compassion for just, you know, your team members as well as the people you're trying to support or you know, develop a solution for. Because I think even coming from an engineering perspective, understanding, you know, like the user's requirements is like the most important part. and making sure there's like reduced bias and reduced gender bias, and making sure that it's applicable and accessible for everyone. So I think like when it comes to leadership, it's about like being able to like step out of your own shoes and like look from someone else's perspective. I think it just helps you improve with like your communication skills as well, and like conflict resolution, and even just like what are the strategies that you use as a leader to address your team members, or to like motivate people, or like you know, get people to commit to whatever cause or issue that you're trying to put forward. So I definitely say would be like empathy and compassion, as well as just like resilience, because there's always like so many issues along the way. So you need to be able to sort of like be able to pick yourself up and be like, okay, like what's the action plan from here? Yeah, that's what I would say.
So you are enjoying your life no matter what.
I don't know if you can enjoy like 100%, but you can push forward. Look towards the next thing.
Great. Thank you, Sanjini.
Okay.
Who is next?
I go next because I want to, I really agree with Sanjini's point around engineering and design and needing representation. I've kind of two examples, one from my own teaching and one which is kind of classic one. So the classic one is around the design of seatbelts, which were designed to be optimal for a standard 40-year-old man. So you're safest if you're a 40-year-old man. Most people are not 40-year-old men. Even most men are not 40-year-old men of the standard size. So once you consider, oh, how do we make a better design for seatbelts to make women safer, it benefits all of society. So the purpose of STEM is to help society, and 50% of society is at least as women. So the more women we have in STEM presenting that viewpoint, the better. And I had a similar example with one of my own student groups where we were designing medical devices, and one group of all male students designed a device that women could not wear because of where it had to be placed on the chest. It just wasn't possible for women, and it hadn't occurred to them because they designed for themselves. And so we need to have this kind of diverse voice to get products that designs that make everyone's lives better, not just the designer designing for themselves. So yeah, that's my mini rant there. But just the point that the more diversity and the more we have in all fields representation of all people, the better we will progress as society, because all parts of society will be involved in all design, all decisions, and that can only be better for everyone.
I cannot agree. I guess we talking about the biodiversity because my research field is about study the biodiversity of microorganism. Biodiversity is the key point. Take it and make sure that you as an individual, you have an opportunity to be part of that diversity. So Dana, do you want to go next? What qualities?
Yeah, actually, I think they said all the points that I wanted to point out. They were excellent points because I think leadership, includes 3 items: mentorship, emotional intelligence, and also communication. And I think by the nature, women are really good at communication, which is vital for making progress even in business or in academia, in any job. And I think adding women can help making balance in a team and improve both internal communications and also brand storytelling. And as Senduri said about the emotional intelligence, yeah, I think women can be empathetic, and it can be considered as an asset in both strategic planning and also management for many projects. And for the mentorship also, I think the quality of mentorship can be actually improved by women because of the, all caring nature of them, and also it makes them somehow ideally suited to leading teams. I think that's my opinion. It might be true or not, but yeah, from my experience, women usually deliver the personalized mentorship, and they make it their own somehow. own thing to think about, and they can put themselves in their shoes and think about the problems and try to solve it. And I think it's a bonus for women in leadership.
Jack?
Yeah, I think completely agree with what everybody said already. Everyone said it really well. And I just quickly to summarize from my own experience, I've had quite maybe a 50-50 split between women and male bosses and lecturers and leaders in my life. And I think the biggest thing and it just kind of clicked in my head right now, just listening to everybody else, that the biggest difference is that women would generally go into a situation thinking, what can I do for this situation, rather than thinking, what can this situation do for me? And I think just that take on it is subconscious and unintentional, but I think that is one of the biggest things that separates women leaders from others, is just having that point of view and that mental state of thinking, how can I contribute to this to make it better, rather than thinking what they can take away to better themselves.
Thank you, Jack. Amelia?
Well, I'd agree that everyone's covered it really nicely. I guess the only other thing that I might add is maybe about empathy. And I think with a lot of the kind of challenges that we're facing in our world at the moment, empathy is like such an important thing. People want to know that you understand and that you care. And I think all of the women in my life have certainly showcased that trait. And so I think it's something that women in STEM can really bring to the table. I think for companies, it's a really good trait to have, especially because it means that whoever your client base is or whoever you're working with really feels like you understand them and you care. And that, I think that can be really valuable for everybody. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much for all the panel member. I guess this was just touch base on some issue like a sustainability and what we can do. It doesn't matter. So we talk about the diversity, the conversation, more communication, just be connected. I think together we are stronger. So we want women and men working together. And of course, with this remote condition, or when we go to the workplace to work as a student, as an educator, as a leader, we really need to have someone around us that can, guide us through the direction, and always do not think that everything should be perfect from the beginning. It's everything is coming based on the practice, and of course we just need to believe in ourselves. So if we have this opportunity to talk with each other, share the knowledge with each other, and I think the role model and mentors are very important. This motivation, it should happen every day. Sanjuni mentioned not every day we enjoy our life. There are some moments that we are not really enjoying, but I guess I think if we are passionate about something that we are doing, and we are I think if we enjoy of what we are doing, so we are not going to stop of that. So I think hopefully we can provide some resources to the students or participants or our colleague who are in the as a participants in the email coming from Janet. So again, thank you very much. I want to take a moment here and ask everyone if they can please turn on their video for maybe 30 seconds. I just take a screenshot if you want to be with us in that screenshot, and that is going to be our smile to the world, to the future, to the those individuals who look after each other and they consider the sustainability. So if you can please turn on your video, I'm going to count down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take an action. Smile, everyone. Thank you. Oh, Alex, you join us. I want to take another one. Can you please just one moment? 1, 2, 3, smile. Thank you. I take it. So now I guess to start our second session, when Dana is going to talk about the superstar in 2000 of STEM 2020. So I guess Dana, okay, this is your slide, Dana, or are you going to?
No, I'm going to share it now. So if it's like
Sure.
for.
So Dana is going to take us with a journey being an academic and being a superstar of 2020. Thank you, Dana.
No worries. Can you see my slides?
Yes.
Perfect. You all know me now, so no need to introduction again. So as I explained before, I'm a lecturer at Swinburne University of Technology, and I'm teaching data science and AI subjects for master's students. And basically, I'm conducting research around AI for robotics and for healthcare applications. And I'm also helping with a new program, new master degree, Master of AI, which is going to be run for the next semester, actually. So for the superstar of STEM, I'm gonna talk about it later. So now let me start with a little bit of my background. And I'm gonna start my story from my birth country. I was born in Iran and grew up in a family of 6. Yes, I am the baby. Then, like other kids, I went to, sorry, my internet, I think, is a little bit unstable. I'm gonna just,
It's okay, but sometimes your voice is disconnected, but I think it's okay. I'm going to turn off my camera too.
Yeah, I did that because of that. Sorry about that. So basically, I went to primary school after that, and there's a funny story. When I was 9 years old, you probably remember about that age, that one of the hot topics of questions for kids was about, you know, the future career and which job would you pick in the future. I remember that I wrote a piece asked by the teachers about that and explained I want to become a computer scientist and create robots who can do what I teach them to do. My mother actually kept that piece, and it's quite funny to see today that you know, it's pretty much a fair description of what I do currently. However, in that time, my imagination from the robots was something like this. But actually, what we had in that time, in my country at least, was something like this. So I think you're lucky to have the robots around you, much more similar to my childhood imagination of future robots. Anyway, I lost this direction after high school education, and I actually attracted to electrical engineering more and decided to take electrical engineering as my major and do the programming, practicing the programming in the side. So after getting my bachelor degree in electronics, I immediately joined the industry-based research center as I had a tremendous passion to experience industrial projects. I used to work on designing circuits and electronic systems, but you know, after a while, I felt there was something missing in there, and I could see it's not the field that I want to work for the rest of my life. I needed something more innovative and you know, creative, that I can use both my knowledge and creativity at the same time. So I decided to pursue my education in robotics field. I returned to the school and because I felt that robotics is a field that I could see the live impact of my work better and perhaps faster. That was why I came back to school for master's degree in 2011, and I changed my field to control engineering for that, and I worked on a project about AUVs, which is underwater vehicles. As I said, I was fascinated by the world of robotics in that time, but at the same time, I kept doing my job as an electronic engineer, and that was where I was facing to gender polarization issues that I had experienced in my workplace. There was an interesting issue about lack of balance between university study and future career for women in Iran. And although numbers of women study in STEM, very few get the chance to pursue a career, actually, as it is a male-dominated discipline and not what is expected from women from the society. And this is mostly because of the pressure of society and culture and expectations from women. So for all of those reasons, I finally decided to apply for a PhD program and pursue my study outside of Iran. So I applied for PhD program in Australia. I got funded positions from QUT and UNSW that I picked QUT because of my interest in robotics. And at that time, one very, very good robotics center actually was established at the same time in QUT. So that's why I came to Australia in 2015 and I started my PhD in QUT. When I started as a PhD student, I started to learn deep learning, which is a branch of artificial intelligence. And it was fairly new in that time, back in early 2015. And I decided to use it for robotics applications under my supervisor's guidance, of course. And basically, the reason that I did that was I could see that it was innovative, it was promising, state of the art, and at the same time, it was fun. And I couldn't imagine the future world without robots and AI. So I thought, why not? This is what I want for my future career, actually. In the end of my PhD program, I went to University of Maryland in USA as a visiting student. I'm saying that because I want to give you, the information that what opportunities would you get as a PhD student in Australia. So I got this trip fully funded by our center, and I spent 5 months in University of Maryland and had a chance to work with most prestigious professors in my domain. And it was a very excellent experience for me in terms of having collaboration, having international collaborations, and being familiarized with outside of, the workplace outside of Australia as well. So after finishing my PhD, I joined Macquarie University and I started my postdoc. So I'm going to talk about the projects later, and then I joined the Swinburne University that I'm here now. Okay, now you know about the general path of my journey. Let's talk about the technical part of my journey too. In the past, roboticists were passionate about replacing the work of human with robot, but today is a little bit different. The focus is much more on the robots as assistants. And it allows us to actually use the capabilities of human and robots at the same time, which can be complementary in many situations. For example, for the assembling tasks, for manufacturing tasks, and so on. So that was the motivation behind my PhD project. And I try to bring robots to the shared workspace with human. Basically, sorry. The case study that I worked on as the final outcome of my PhD was assembling an IKEA drawer by human and robot. So imagine that you bought, an IKEA drawer, for example, or IKEA table, but you don't have any friends around to help you. What if you have a robot assistant that can watch you and recognize what you are doing right now, and then can predict what you are doing what you are going to do for the next step? To make the robot an effective assistant, actually it needs to predict what can be the next human action, and only in this way it can plan ahead a suitable action for that. To do this, to actually achieve this goal, it needs firstly to know what is human currently doing, which means action recognition, and that's why I worked on these two topics, recognition and prediction, in my PhD. So These are pretty much the list of what I did. I'm not going through the details. So this is the team that I worked with, my supervisors, and also the rest of the group, other PhD students and postdocs. And that was amazing experience for me. Anyway, after that, I joined AIHI for my postdoc, and that was where that I had to shift from the vision word somehow to speech and text word, because I was working on the domain of health informatics, and our input was mostly text instead of videos and images. So the main project that I worked on in AIHI was about developing a digital scribe. When I'm saying scribe, it means that, you know, we have human scribes in hospitals and GP offices sometimes that they just document what doctors said about the patient, about the symptoms and everything. But we wanted to automate this process. So basically, when you go to the GP office, you all have this experience that you prefer to talk to the doctor face to face, but GPs usually try to type everything that you say, and they avoid missing a piece of that. So what we were going to do was having this as an automatic process. So an agent can sit on the office and listen to the conversation of doctor and patient, and automatically can grab the important parts such as symptoms, such as allergies, like medical history, family history, and so on, and put those pieces and summarize them in just one page, and then send it to the doctor to be confirmed. So it somehow reduced the burden of documentation for GPs, and they can actually have a better personalized care for the patients. So after joining the Swinburne, what I'm doing here in terms of research is around these topics, mostly around intelligent human-robot collaboration that have some applications in healthcare as well, such as an assistant robot for helping Alzheimer's disease patients to finish their daily activities, and also to develop a teaching robot for monitoring physiotherapy and rehabilitation activities for kids. I'm still working on the digital scribe project as well to develop it and improve it, actually. But now I'm going to talk about another title that I granted this year. I mean, my experience as a superstar of STEM. This is a 2-year program that tries to support women employed in a range of roles in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics to become highly visible public role models. They select high-profile women, actually 60 high-profile women in all STEM, all the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics fields around Australia. And the aim of this program is training high-profile women in STEM field to be present in media more effectively by encouraging them to enhance their skills in public speaking, in communicating with influence, and actually do it through creating opportunities to practice their acquired skills. Basically, to this end, they kind of empower participants to share their story and their work with general audience by equipping them with advanced communication skills and an understanding of traditional media, social media, and also the storytelling. So for this program, another thing to tackle is smashing imposter syndrome that is very common among the women, actually. And they are trying to build confidence in a range of professional settings that makes participants learn how to communicate with influence in their workplaces, in the media, or in the other situations with other leaders and politicians, for example. They ask the superstars not only work on their own skills to be a better science and technology communicators, but also encouraging young women and other girls to study and stay in STEM field by speaking with them in their schools and also in their workplaces if they already graduated, and by providing prominent public role models for them to inspire them. people usually ask me about the Superstar of STEM program, and Bita also asked me to explain a little bit about the pathway through that. So I'm going to talk about the steps for getting into that for those of you who might have an interest to become one in the future. Actually, for me, it got started with getting some encouragement from my friends and mentors in the university. They told me that there is something like this, and you can be a perfect candidate because of your story of success and all the achievements that you have during the years of research in Australia as a female immigrant. To be honest, at first I felt that this is not aligned with my personality as someone who preferred to be pointed out by her achievement, not by showing off her abilities. But then, as much as I became more familiarized with the program aims actually and the activities, I realized that this is not about showing off at all, but about inspiring other women to take STEM as their field of study and show women in STEM jobs that they can also make the impact and push the boundaries as all of us. What I liked about the program was, and still is actually, emphasizing the fact that we should believe in ourselves as the role models for other women and avoid thinking we are not excellent enough to inspire and help others. Many of women have this problem. We can call it imposter syndrome, that made them think I'm successful, okay, but it's not a big deal. There are many people better than me with more achievements. Well, yes, there are. First of all, there are better women, of course. Second thing that is more important is pushing yourself to stand for other women and being a role model for them. And basically, this thing doesn't take the opportunity from others to be the one. So I think you need to think that way, believe in yourself and know yourself first, and then try to help other people and inspire other people by what you have, no matter how big it is. Also convincing other people, I've always have a huge passion for, helping others to grow. So I thought with myself, this program perhaps something that was a try, and I might enjoy it because of the spirit of caring about others and helping them that I've had. And basically, these are thoughts that came to my mind before making a decision about applying. And then I decided to do that I decided to apply for this program, which is a 2-year program. So the rest steps were more routine. I needed to go through the websites and see the application, answer the questions of the application. So I was somehow comfortable with sending applications during the years of applying for the positions and scholarships for master and PhD degree. So I confidently did that, and I sent my application and all the documents such as CV and everything that you can see a list of them here. And after that, I got response from them that I have been selected for interview, and I met with them. I had a nice chat, of course, online chat, because we were in lockdown, around all these topics and how I can be impactful candidate for other women. Then they actually made the decision and they selected us. Then the Minister of Science and Innovation made an announcement on December 2020 and introduced 60 women in STEM as the superstars of STEM. So my journey as a superstar of STEM has been actually started from that point. So now I'm gonna talk about a little bit about the opportunities and activities as a superstar of STEM that you need to make actually. The first one, I think the first opportunity and the biggest one is meeting other inspiring superstars and having the chance of collaboration with them, which is really fantastic. For example, this gathering that you see happened in Melbourne when we were not in lockdown, but these are just from the Victoria, and we have other amazing women all around Australia. And it's really a fantastic opportunity. Also, they provide us with training workshops on enhancing skills of public communication, also about the social media and around the topics that they think can be effective for improving our skills in terms of communicating the science and technology. Another thing that I can point out is, as an activity, is giving talks to high school female students and also other events that are designed for encouraging female students to take the STEM as their future field of study or their future career. For example, I attended an event just today morning. We call it Go Girl, Go For It. And it's, I think these kind of events can be really effective to encourage female students from the early ages. And they can think about their future study and future career from now. And it can be helpful for them to not to be afraid of taking their interest as their field of study and actually smash that fear of failure and fear of being lower than men and being not successful as men in those domains, because the society somehow press people to think that for STEM field men are always more successful, and it's not true in practice. So this is another honor and a piece of joy, that I've had about the interviews that you get as a side effect of the Superstar of STEM. So basically, I was interviewed by a podcast, Let's Talk Robotics, that you can see the image of that here. And it was nice to see my mentors and my previous role models, like the Professor Peter Cork and Elizabeth Croft, who were like, unachievable persons to me one day. And now I could see that they're gonna interview with me along with them. And these are all the opportunities that you have as a superstar and also as any successful woman in STEM. So that's the, sorry, I have a technical problem here. Right, okay. Yeah, I was talking about the interviews that you may get as a side effect of that program. And also another amazing opportunity that they give you is a mentoring program. And basically, you get the chance of practicing mentorship concept as a mentee, also as mentor, and also as the peer mentor. So the program actually allocated basically announced some of the mentors for you, and they match up one mentor for you during these 2 years. Basically, to be honest, 1.5 years, because it already passed the half year. So my mentor is Minister Karen Andrews, which is amazing. And we're gonna meet like every month and talk about the goals, about the aims, and about any that I have about my future career. So I can ask for her advice, which is fantastic. And you can ask for advice for anything, for your career, for network, and anything else. And this is another opportunity that you will get as a superstar. We have also peer mentoring group among us, and this is my peer mentoring group that I really love them. So we meet every month, and we talk about somehow casually, somehow formally about one topic that is common, and we can discuss about it, which is common for us, for our future career, for the challenges that we have as a woman in STEM, and how we can tackle that, how we can overcome that. And that's pretty useful for me as well. Another opportunity that I can actually mention, and I've experienced it, is the radio interviews. Again, this one is not directly related to the Superstar of STEM program, but for example, for this one, I've been approached by The Conversation, and they asked me to write an article I did that, and the feedbacks that I got was amazing, was really amazing. You know, it was published at 9 a.m. At morning, and less than an hour later, I started to receive emails from the radios all around Australia, from Adelaide, from all the ABCs, ABC Sydney, ABC Melbourne, QLD, also Tasmania, Darwin, everywhere. And they wanted to have an interview about my article. So I did 3 interviews, one of them with ABC Melbourne and another one with ABC Sydney, with James Valentine and with Jacinta Pearson. And that was really fun, you know, activity and amazing experience. I've never done that before, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. And this is some statistics of views that I got and reads that I got for this article. And you can see that in less than 7 days, I could get actually more than 300K reads, which was, yeah, something unexpected for me at least. So this is pretty much all I wanted to share with you about my experience with being a superstar of STEM. And now I'm happy to take any questions if you have about the program or if about my journey, about research, you know, everything that, yeah, you can think of. So I'm just gonna stop sharing if I can.
You can. You did all the, you know, difficult work.
Now I can come back a bit more.
Thank you very much, Dana. I guess I really want, on behalf of the women in STEM, I would like to appreciate you took an action and stand for the other women. That was a very important point. It's not just you. You are successful. You know who you are, and you know you achieved your goals. Maybe you want to, you are in a track, but still, I think we are, you know, having all of the women in STEM, the young, you know, students that they are here around us in Australia, outside Australia. And I think it's very important to stand for them. And I think on behalf of the women in STEM, I would like to appreciate your took an action, because I know that this is extra to your workload, but it's amazing. Thank you very much. Very inspiring.
And this is the best part of the program, actually, that you can, you know, encourage other female students to take actions and, you know, and not to be afraid of being successful in STEM, and don't just leave it there at their interests. Yeah, that's the best part that I like about the program.
I guess now I want to be open to the participants. If they have any question for Dana, for panel member, I don't know if the panel member, you can turn on your video if you want, or if you have any question for the competition. And Sam will be here to help me with the chat room.
There's no, oh no, there's just one question that's come up. Is there a criteria around what stage you should be applying? Sorry. Is there a criteria around what stage you should be in your career when you're applying for programs like Superstars in STEM?
I think in terms of the technical ones, for example, in terms of the achievements, there is no criteria. You can apply if you are working in industry, if you are working in academia. Doesn't matter. It's just about your achievements, about your outcome, that you can actually wrap it up and pitch it to them. And you can convince them. It's important that you can convince them that you can be an impactful candidate for them to be like ambassador. And also you can also have this, you know, you can pass this journey with the girls to inspire them. But there is one criteria, I guess, which is you need to be a permanent resident in Australia.
And you need to be under 40 years old.
Yes, yeah.
So is there...
Yeah, there's another question. This one says, I was wondering which panel member was working for AD, if I heard that correctly. So there's somebody who thinks that they heard during the earlier discussion, somebody working for AD, and was wondering who that was or if they'd misheard something.
That's me.
Is it
I think that was Jack.
all
But I
right?
could be wrong.
So we have more than one.
Not me.
AD is in Australia Defence? Or yes.
Yes.
Okay, so that was me. Yeah, I'm doing my industry placement with Australia Defence at the moment. Yeah.
And how about you, Donna? You mentioned is that the same for you? I don't think that, Donna, you are part of this workplace industry. So it's Sanduni.
Yeah, it's under, yeah.
All right. So is there any question? So students want to ask a question?
How I was finding it, and maybe, oh yeah, definitely like contact me on LinkedIn or Facebook. But yeah, it's a completely different culture. I think also the demographic is a lot older, and also working with people who like military and like is a completely different experience. But everyone's very welcoming, which is really nice. I'm like the only girl on the entire floor, which is worrying. And I've been in so many like intense meetings that are like, because I'm mostly in like safety and sustainment, and I've been in such huge meetings, which is like making decisions about safety for like all soldiers in the entirety of Australia. And I'll be like the only woman, but I'm like an intern as well. So I'm not even like part of the decision making, which is kind of worrying, but it's a really nice environment and I'm learning a lot. Yeah.
Amazing. Interesting. So Sanduni, you study robotic engineering at Swinburne?
Yes, mechatronics and robotics. Yeah.
Yeah, so
We've got another question for those who work in the robotics or healthcare space. Where do you think that AI in healthcare is going to be in, say, the next 5 years?
Yeah, that's a good question. Actually, there are lots of budgets that they allocated for AI in healthcare in particular. And I think we are making a good progress in Australia and around the world towards the healthcare because it can be effective in, from the detecting disease to the health informatic, to the reducing the documentation for doctors to give them more time spending with the patient care. And also, for example, in the domain of robotics, because it's kind of related to AI, we use AI with the robot platform to help hospitals for get rid of common activities and focus on the most important ones. For example, all of the service robots, we have lots of startups around the world that are delivering are developing robotics, service robotics, robotic platforms. And it's taking care of delivery of medicines, like delivery of bands for the patients who were admitted in the hospital, and all of those things like delivering the pathology samples and so on. With this help, nurses and doctors can have more focus on patient care, and it can improve the quality of healthcare system very much. And it's not just limited to that. It's very broad from the, robotic surgeries. It can be used for reaching out those areas of body that it's not reachable for the human hand, but it's reachable with a robotic platform, robotic arm. And yeah, there are lots of domains that we can work on that. And in 5 years, I think, we're gonna have tremendous progress in that domain, of course. But one thing which is really important in domain of healthcare is ethics, because the data is really sensitive, and we don't want to give away the data from patients. So this is one topic that make me feel that, whatever progress that we can have in 5 years, we can't somehow remove the role of doctors as the last point of, confirmation. So we need to keep that to maintain the ethics in this domain. So it's not like that I can imagine that in 5 years, robots can take care of the responsibility of doctors. No, it's not going to happen.
And I have two questions for you, Dana. In terms of the sustainability, do we know what material it's used for this robotics? Or, I mean, I'm thinking the other day I was in a meeting where someone talking about the rockets and the space technology and the material they use. So I'm thinking about how this material is going to be recycled. So do you have any information about?
It's a very good question, but I don't have anything special about it specific in my mind right now, but I'm sure that some of the companies in Japan are working on that for having the recycle for the material that they use for robots. But no, specifically and directly, I can't answer on that question. But yeah, that's a good topic. I can search about it later.
Yeah, I think that would be interesting because now we are talking about the STEM infographic with the sustainability impact, and you're looking, if you're in my unit's communication for scientists, you want to choose this an area of your research and come up with your visual infographic to showcase what material, like if you're in chemistry, what material can be used to, use in this industry that can be recycled. And I guess my next question is, can robots do the teaching instead of the human?
I think not that far from my mind, at least. Yeah, I think they can, because now we can train robots to think and decide about the actions. So why not? If we give it enough amount of data, so it can actually analyze that in different situations, which procedure it should take. And based on that, it can adapt with different situation of teaching as well. So because teaching is, some of a part of that is based on the instructions. So we can teach to the robot and it can be somehow stable. And for those situations that is unexpected and uncertain, also it's possible if we have, variation in our data that we feed through the robot. So yeah, it's all about the data. If we have enough data, we can do it.
Okay, then that reminds me I should find another planet to live and work.
Not right. Now we have time.
So I'm thinking about too far. I'm not going to be here. So I guess now, Sam, do we have any? So you mentioned we had a question about the competition.
Yeah, there was just one person earlier asking on whether it can be done in groups or is done individually.
That's a very great question. And I was thinking about this because initially I made it a group activity, but later I was thinking, Bita, you want to give an option to individual and a team. So there is no limitation. You can come to compete individually, or you can come, and we would like to have a multidisciplinary, students working from the, different discipline, work together to collect the data, to do the research. For example, we just discussed about some of the item, topic. So you can work as a group as well. And the prize, I talked with Emily and Dana. So we are going to consider about like something for 4-minute video. We have a standard price of $400, and then it can be increased based on the group activity. So I think that is what we are going to do, but we are going to, so the answer to that is yes, individual can participate in the competition. However, we would like the group with the multidisciplinary knowledge.
There's just one extra question on that, asking where they can get more information, if there's a link or whatnot.
Yes, that's a great question. So Janet is going to send the summary slide where we are going to, where the slides that it comes with the workshop 1, which was today. So workshop 2, which is about Adobe Illustrator training. and workshop 3, which is about the data visualization. So beyond that, so you are going to receive this information. So the due date and again, we are going to meet each other in the next workshop. So, and then we are going to give you the rubric, the criteria for our judging panel, which is the similar for my assessment, for the assessment that my students have in the communication for scientists unit. So yeah, this is going to be updated, but the overview slide is going to be shared with you. If you can please share your student ID in the chat room. So that would be something that Janet needs, because all the information that we just discussed here, including the slide, is going to be shared with you, and the recording of the session, if you're interested. And of course, we are here, so we are not going anywhere. If you have any questions, so I'm going to write my email address in the chat room as well. So you can just send me an email if you have any question about the competition, and we are here to support you. Just one more point. So the Adobe coaches we have at Swinburne in Adobe Hub, so they are on board. They know about this competition. They are, that's how they are going to run this Adobe Illustrator training in the second workshop. And we have drop-in session. You can ask them and they are able to give you like one-by-one training. So the Adobe coaches are amazing. Please use of these opportunities that you have at Swinburne. And those students from Sarawak, because I saw Irene in the screenshot. Hello, Irene from Malaysia. So if you're from Malaysia, so from Sarawak, please contact Irene, and we are in contact. So all the information here is going to be shared with the Swinburne students in Sarawak. So you're welcome to join us in the competition. So I think that is going to be the end of the meeting. I know you're all amazing, and I know that you are going to reflect on what you're doing, what you can do better in future. And we are going together, we are going to have hopefully a better place to live in future, and of course today. Thank you very much, everyone.